Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Well, it's April. 1 year, 2 years ago, I fell off my bike, broke the hip, forever changed my life. But nonetheless, though April showers may come your way, they bring the flowers that bloom in May. So if it's raining, have no regrets. It isn't raining rain, you know, it's raining violets. And when you see clouds on the hill, you soon will see crowds of daffodils. So keep looking for the bluebird, listening for his song whenever April showers come along. Yeah, you know, I guess too much rain there's flood, but not enough rain there's drought. It's another one of those tricky balances. Oh, life is so paradoxical. All right, the rest of the week, I'm going to continue on my theme of the inner royalty or the self, capital S, or the king or the queen, or whatever you want to call the center of one's self, the nucleus. And so, in order to understand this from another point of view, I call it the ego self axis. And unfortunately, the ego often ascribes to itself something that's more impersonal and archetypal. And so, if you want to know what you're doing in life, you can't set your course until you know what you're doing. Or as George Harrison says, if you don't know where you're going, any road can take you there. So the first thing is to recover this lost knowledge, which through distraction of our senses at birth, we lose, which is the knowledge of the depth self. You can call it the imago Dei, the image of deity within you. You could call it the Christ self. You could call it your Buddha nature. You could call it the inner mandala. You could call it heaven, paradise. It doesn't matter. All words are choices between mistakes, but it's pointing to an actual experience. And as you've heard me say many, many times, everybody knows that it is, but nobody knows what it really is. So if we come trailing clouds of glory, the problem is that we get inflated and we take the pariyari, we take to be ourselves something that is not ourselves, and then we get all mixed up. So if we continue to abrogate qualities to ourselves that's really ought to be described or ascribed to something greater than ourselves, that's where we get vanity. That's where we get the wrong kind of pride. That's where we get presumptuousness. That's where we get pompousness. That's where we've blown up ourselves beyond our proper size. It ain't going to work. So the first thing is the mentor, the guru, or it could be the good father or the good mother, it doesn't matter. They're permissive in the sense that they encourage your tenacity, your bravery. They bless you by telling you you're up to fighting the chaos. You got it within you. You can do it. And they nourish your contact with whatever your life force is. They don't force you into their mold. They recognize the direction of your river flow and they support you as you go there. And yes, we know it's one person's path is another person's poison, right? A panacea for one and destruction for another. So the first thing we learn is commit yourself to the moment. Be here now. So many people have this constant inner refusal to just be with what is, even if it's horrific. Nobody wants to be pinned down, huh? But you got to enter time and space completely and not play with bad faith. You've heard me say many times, you got to say yes to the whole idea of life, which means the aspect of it that contains the heart of darkness as well. And if you can do that, you will learn to be the one human being who you really are. Being the one human being one is. And that's not an easy thing to do. So don't get pissed off. Turn your anger into motivation. Try to not coerce your environment as your predominant motivation, but to flow with your environment. And just remember, with every increase of consciousness, there comes conflict. The conflict itself is the way it announces its presence, which means that there's a new step of growth about to undertake. So consciousness itself is the wound. The awareness itself, reality hurts. So If we're going to start a new life, turn up a new stage, we have to have the daring to challenge the old code.